Oh, look, there we are. There we are. I believe we're here, Jill. I believe we're here.
We're here.
Which is cool, in Louisville, Kentucky at the Brown Hotel. The famous
Brown Hotel. Famous for the brown.
Famous for the brown.
The hot brown. The hot brown.
The hot brown. Okay, well, sounds like a hot mess. What the hot brown?
It's a big dish.
It's a big dish.
Yes.
What's in it?
Bacon, eggs, potatoes. It's like this gigantic thing.
Oh, okay. Well, yep, we're right here. I see. Who do we have? Sam, I am. I don't have my glasses on because I couldn't get Dave and Sam. I couldn't get rid of the glare from the mini ring light we're using out here in the field. Oh, we're having signal issues. I hope you all can see us
fine.
Have
signal issues. but I wasn't unable to put in the fortune cookie.
Fortune cookie? No fortune cookie?
So if anyone wants to contact us, how should they do that?
I don't know.
You have an email? I have an email. So
my email is, if you want to contact us, you can contact us at themanaboutlove@gmail.com.
Or Jill.CoxCordova. That's all together. Jill. There's no hyphen in my email. So CoxCordova@gmail.com. So you can always it's email us. But we haven't said the name of the show even. So greetings, everyone. This is I'm Right.
I'm Right.
And I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova, and I am so right. I am so right. It's insane.
It is insane for you to think that, yes.
You know, it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth.
So the reason we're having a stripped down show is, like Tony said at the beginning of the show, we are in Louisville, Kentucky. About once a year, I come back for 9 days to Louisville.
Where I think we have a Kelly that just came in the audience.
Where I had... I earned my... So you distracted me.
You don't even know where you are or what you're doing here.
Earned my MFA. And so once a year, at least once a year, I come back.
What's an MFA, Jill?
Master's in fine arts. Yeah. And it's usually, either visual arts or writing or something like that. And so mine happens to be creative writing fiction, although I write a lot of nonfiction, because I'm a journalist.
Cool.
So anyway, I come back at least once a year. So twice a year they have people, their current students come back for 9 or 10 days. And it's a very intense program when they're here. And they listen to famous writers. They workshop their own writing and things like that. So once a year I come back and help them with this gigantic itinerary. This year, the schedule, or this residency, the schedule is 46 pages. So that tells you how intense it's been. But for the first time, you're here with me the entire
time. Yeah, I usually come for 2 or 3 days. Trying to frame this up, and nothing is up. I better stop.
Yes,
because I'm going to knock the camera right out of the tripod.
Yes.
Everything's going to be a mess.
Yes.
So it's okay. It's okay.
Yes. So the reason, since we're here for a writing program, we thought we could talk about which one of us is artsier.
Hey, I win this one hands down. You are a great writer, Jill, but we're not talking just about writing.
No, we're not.
And who's artsy?
I have other talents. Thank you very much.
You have other artsy talents?
I do.
Yes, you do. You play the piano.
I do.
And I do not.
You do not.
I do not play the piano.
You do not play instruments. Well, you play the drums.
I play the drums. I play the drums. I play the conga drums. I play the cowbell. I play the tambourine.
I play the tambourine.
I play, what else do I play? I play the ham bone.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, ham bone. You all know about the ham bone? You play it with your legs and your chest. And anyway, I don't have enough room to show it right now. So,
well, I do believe you are artsy because you create things from
I'm an artist.
Reclaimed wood or other reclaimed materials.
Yes, I do.
So, yes.
I'm a poet. Poets. Everybody knows poets are artsy.
So are other types of creative writers.
Yeah, but
So now
poets are artsier than like your normal writer.
I disagree.
Oh, we could ask
Are you
anyone.
saying poets aren't normal writers?
Yes. Yes, I am saying
But
that. Yes.
so-called normal writers often write poetry too.
Yes, yes, yes.
Whereas poets rarely do other things.
I write prose.
And why do you write prose? Who convinced you to do that?
You convinced me to do that, but my real passion is poetry. I'm gonna write poetry
And you're an
probably
excellent
for the
poet.
rest of my life.
I usually don't touch poetry. I've written poetry, and that's been read in public by someone.
Yeah.
Well, I actually read it,
yeah.
But I don't consider myself.
Yeah, but
that's not my favorite form of writing at all.
Poets are crazy artsy because we have to think in different ways, in ways that most people don't.
Your word choice matters more in poetry, but I would dare say that these so-called normal writers that you called us often
doggone normal writers
think about their word choice too. They have to.
They do, and I'm not taking away anything about
yes,
that.
You are.
But this show is about, am I artsier than you? So with the things I do, with the art I create, with the poetry I create, with the drums I play, I'm doing all of these things that are artsy, and then you think about that I'm also I'm also a psychic empath, and
that's artsy to you. That's not artsy.
It's artsy. I'm stretching this.
Yeah, you really are. That was a big stretch. No, that's not artsy. That's
helps.
More on the spiritual realm. That's not artsy.
Yeah, but the spiritual people are artsy. The way they decorate their homes, and let's take that for instance. Whenever there's going to be usually some new objects added to the homes for decoration, I'm the one that usually picks them out. I'm not saying you don't, but I go out of my way to find artsy type things to add to our decor.
If you would let me quit my job, I'd probably do more of that too.
Hey, I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to be homeless. No,
I make a living from my artsiness.
No, you
so
don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
I'm artsy in my day job. I am.
No, you don't.
Working with words.
You read
artsy.
Reviews. That's not artsy.
That is artsy
that's not artsy.
Yes, it is.
If you write for the newspaper, that is not artsy. If you write,
writing is artsy. It is. No matter what type of. There is a craft to journalistic writing. There is.
There is a craft. But
so craft is artsy.
Craft is not.
Yes, it is.
Not
yes,
necessarily.
It is.
We can argue about that.
We will argue about that.
We don't have a large enough audience for people to even vote.
Dave and Sam are two people.
Dave and Sam are two people. That's not large enough.
They can vote.
No,
Dave and Sam, you can vote.
They can't vote.
They can. Why are you taking a vote away from them?
They can't vote.
Why are you suppressing their vote?
Can't vote.
They can. They can't vote. They can absolutely vote.
We need artsy people to vote.
And now you're saying that Dave and Sam are not artsy?
Artsy.
I dare say that creators.
They're funny and fun. They're funny and fun.
Are artsy.
They're funny and fun.
Creators, by definition.
No, by definition, no.
Yes, they are.
Look, all the creators on Fireside.
Dave has invited others. Darn Fireside.
Yeah, but creators.
Thank you, Dave.
Creators are creators. They're not necessarily artsy. If you have a creator,
and Dave says we are very artsy. They are very artsy.
Oh, well, I would like to hear about all of the artsy things that they create. Yes, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear about the paintings. I want to hear about
I'm trying to invite them to speak, but
the
my
music.
thing just went away.
No, they're there. They're there on the stage.
Oh, maybe that's why they went away on my screen.
Yeah.
So, hi.
Hey, guys. Are both of you here or just
We're
Dave?
both here. Give me a second. Let me set this up so you can hear us both. Hold on. I'll turn our mics on. We're getting ready for our show next. Hang on.
Yeah, I know. I know you won't be here for long.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hear both of you.
Yeah, we're okay. We're not artsy, I guess. I used to draw a lot.
That's artsy.
Did you? But do you now?
I don't do it like I should. I don't do it like I used to.
You do make an awesome pepperoni supreme pizza.
Is that Anthony?
That's Anthony.
I thought that sounded
and
like
there's an art to food.
You got Anthony here too.
There isn't culinary is an art
How do
too.
you do? Ha ha ha! What's going on?
We're just hanging out. We're just hanging out in Louisville, Kentucky, on the 12th floor. Actually, we're looking right out the window right now while we're on the show. Windows on the other side. Yeah, but but artsy people, are driven by their art. They practice their art. They go to places where other people are doing the same type of art or different arts, sculptures, paintings, like musicians. Many musicians, not all musicians, but many musicians are very artsy, especially if they create music from scratch. They write their own music, all of that.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah. So
I've been playing the clarinet since I was in 4th grade, and I've been doing balloons now for over 30 years, and I've made anything from 20-foot tall Chinese dragons to dresses out of balloons. So
do you
really?
write?
Really?
He does do that. Do you?
Yeah. See, then now see, Anthony is artsy. He does.
I serenaded my very first girlfriend when I was like in senior high. I sat there and took 2 weeks to make this song. I rode on my bike 10 miles to go there, and I sat there and played it. Her mom cried, and she thought it was corny. But of course, that's what happens when you're a teenager. Her mom thought it was great.
Okay.
It is great.
And then 2 weeks later, I caught her having sex with her
Oh,
best
stop!
friend.
No. That's not their show. That's our show.
I just said that was what happened. It broke my heart. I'm like,
Bro, you are heartbroken because you poured your out.
They say that the best music that's ever been created is after an artist gets their heart broke.
Yeah. That adds to your repertoire.
Yep.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift has made she's become a superstar because of that.
Yeah. And but yeah, Archie, like I've been working.
I was waiting for you all to hear that.
No, but like for the last 2 days, I have been rewriting a poem that I wrote probably, I don't know, 20 years ago.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay. When you were reading over your poem from 20 years ago, and now that obviously you've had different life experiences that have added to it, did you see the innocence in what you wrote before versus the experience that you have now? And did you make changes according to that?
That's a great question.
That is a good question. And I did not see innocence in what I wrote before.
Because he wrote some dark stuff before, let me tell you.
So yeah, this goes back to this dark stuff I was writing while I was depressed. And back then I was just banging stuff out. So, I was banging stuff out. I would write a poem, in a few hours. Now I'm not in a rush anymore. So I'm rewriting it in a way where I can actually put even more emphasis on what's going on in the poem and make it more abstract. So where before
So you write in rhyme or prose?
I do both. I do
Okay.
both. Um, some in stanza forms, some are, straight ahead prose. This one is in stanza form, and just like I was in, what was I in the other day with you, the little class? Anyway,
We were having a small group discussion
we were
about
having a
poetry.
small group discussion led by
A
one of the
student,
students here,
right?
and
And he
we
read the poems like I dragged him to this session because I was like, "You're a poet, come." And he read the poems while we were sitting there waiting for her to start.
yeah,
There were
yeah,
3
and
poems.
then we discussed them all. But one of the poems played with spacing,
Hmm.
and I usually don't play with spacing and
It's not
page and
easy to
layout
do.
and all of that. But as I was working on this rewrite of the poem, I found that, oh, this is a great spot in this particular poem, the way I'm rewriting it, to use spacing. And I was kind of referring to how our minds and our memories mess with us. And because we don't see our past when we grew up and all of that with a true eye, because we tend to our mind will block out bad stuff that has happened. And we may not remember as a child, but it's still in us. So it creates blank spots in our minds. Okay, so when we recall what happened to us, when we were children, we're not seeing the whole picture. So in that case, it
Because
was
you don't have the life experiences yet, just like
yes,
Anthony said.
See,
yes.
that brings me
So
right back to what I said earlier about when you rewrote it, now that you have your different life experiences, even when you mentioned about the things about in depression for that, there is innocence is not just a word of being innocent because you don't know, or people like to put innocence on a purity level, but purity goes for all sides of it. So even if you
absolutely,
were writing something dark, that still gives to the innocence, because the difference is you can now process the feelings that you had and the things that you were writing because you became an adult and you had different life experiences, which allows you to look at it and say, you know what? It's like when you're 9 years old and you're upset because your Joe gets broke. And
mm-hmm,
you
mm-hmm.
write that down. Well, yes, that really hurt your heart at that point. But now that you've gotten older, you're like, you know what? How do I approach this from this point of view? Which it seems like that's what you're doing with your poetry. And I have to tell you, that is not easy to do. Not everybody has the gift of introspect to be able to do that. Look at themselves in a raw point of view and then say, hold on, this is me. Now, this is also me. How do I put the two together? So that is not easy to
Absolutely.
do.
And this is what I can say about you, Anthony. You are artsy.
Dang
You
it.
see,
Dang it.
there's no question. There's no question. You are artsy, because we can have these conversations about the art of writing poem. We might also have conversations on, I create sculptures out of reclaimed objects, whether it's wood or metal or whatever I see that I can create into something else, give it another life. And even, with you, whether you're creating things with balloons or you may be creating things with paper, your mind works that way, where someone else's may not. They just see balloons. you
I
know,
will say this much: artsy people do not look at the world as a straight line.
exactly.
Like if somebody is artsy and looking at, let's take water. Okay, common, everybody knows what water is. When it's clear, you're looking at the reflection, seeing that, the average person says, oh, that's pretty. Look at how the tree is, reflecting against the water. Whereas somebody that's artsy looks at it and says, okay, well, there's the tree. I see the reflection. But did you notice that little squirrel that was running around that just happened to lay down on one of the branches that is now feeling the relaxation of the breeze that is blowing through the tree, even though you don't see it that way.
Exactly.
But normal people, and I'm sorry, I mean, artsy people are normal. But I mean,
you said it right.
I don't want anybody to be upset. I'm not artsy, I'm normal. Yes, you are. I mean, normal is a very wide word to be used, but you don't get artists like Miles Davis, Sammy Davis Jr. These are tap shoes that sit down. Gregory Hines.
That's right.
Cab Calloway. I mean, he is, even though he never played a single instrument, but it's the way that he would captivate the audience. And people don't understand that artists are trying to get something out there to be said. It's like when you look at a movie, if you are artsy, you look at a movie and you see the hidden words on what the director's actually trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely right. The story below the story.
Avatar. Perfect example to pull that up. A lot of people saw Avatar and they didn't realize he was talking about colonization.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But, everybody else sees it as good versus evil.
Yeah.
But they didn't see that they actually considered technology evil. Mm-hmm. Because their life was based on, when he sat there and took the life of the first one, he's like, oh yeah. And she's like, you don't understand. And then later on in the movie, when he took the life and he said, thank you for providing me with food and all that kind of stuff, So I get what you're saying as far as the view of all that. Anyway, though, I got to go because if you tune into our show, trust me, I have a moment that I will be sharing.
We'll wait for that.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
That's a good tease.
And I'll let you go, but I do. You don't have to stay to listen. I just need to get this out. So when you reference music and Miles Davis, and so an artsy person even listens to music, like you said, differently than other
They hear
people.
the story in the music.
They hear the story
even
in
if
the
it's
music.
Instrumental,
They
no
hear
lyrics.
the feeling of the music.
Yep.
And then I personally, when I listen to jazz or something, I'm listening to every instrument and I'm listening to what they're doing and how they're doing it, and then how incredible what they do sometimes that make it sound so easy, but it's incredible where like there's only a few people in the world that can do what they do.
You know what? If you'll give me a moment, I will share a scene that I saw. That was one of those that it was, he plays Georgia. What is his name? He plays a soprano sax. Gerald Albright.
Gerald Albright, yeah.
He follows me on LinkedIn.
Nice.
He does.
So see, Jill's artsy.
I'm artsy. Gerald Albright follows me on LinkedIn.
Well, he was playing the very first jazz concert that we have out here in Omaha. And he was starting to play Georgia. And everybody's sitting in their little, seats or blankets and this, that, and the other. And this one couple gets up and starts dancing. And they were dancing as if no one else in the world existed. Mm-hmm. He catches them out the corner of his eye. And then he started to blow. I mean, he was putting everything into this song. Like you could see it. He walked as close as he could get, with the wires and stuff, so you can hear him. And he started playing for this couple. And the whole crowd just got quiet because you didn't want to ruin that moment.
Right.
Those are the kind of things that art bring about that cannot be duplicated. Mm-hmm. Like, even if you were to video it, you'd be like, oh, okay, they're dancing. It's like, no, you don't understand. It's like, he was playing for them. Like, for him as an artist, like, he's sitting there blowing and he did his thing and the guys in the background were going. And, his song, Georgia, everybody knows that that's his song. Like, that is his signature. And he's playing it. And then the camera guy got a shot of them and you see him looking at her and her looking at him. And then she notices when they turn that they weren't on the screen, and she starts to blush, and then, it kind of stopped the moment at that moment. But when that happened, the crowd lost it. I mean, we were cheering and all that, and it was like, me and my boy were sitting there, and we were like, you know what? That's what you want to experience. Like, you want to have that moment. And you cannot have that moment unless you're there.
You're there.
Right.
That's right.
That's right.
But because there's a different
poetry.
energy.
Yes. But that goes for poetry. That goes for writing. That goes for painting, especially that. Sculpting. Like, literally, when you look at David, you're looking at the perfection of man taking a block of wood and making it come to life.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
If you want to describe the...
Technically, that was stone.
Stone, yeah.
I said marble, didn't I?
Yeah, but I wasn't going to call you on it. Dave called you on it. I wasn't going to.
See, I told everybody I'm normal. See, I make mistakes. I am far from perfect.
All right. Proven that I'm not as artsy. I'm not the artsiest one. Okay, you guys.
But Dave, I do consider you artsy. And, when we decided to do this topic of who is artsier, really for me, it was just that we're all artsy. And, I think that should be celebrated. So I celebrate what you do as an artist. I celebrate Sam as a creator. And Sam, maybe there's some other art form that you do that we don't know about, if you'd like to tell us. And Anthony, you're certainly artsy. We also have Really Charlie in our audience, and Charlie is certainly artsy.
Really,
I'm artsy. And then to your point, Anthony, I do believe artists want, it's not only just an expression of our observations of society, and we see society in different ways than normal people. But we want people to feel something. We want them to come away with it, even if it's, like I as a writer, I sit in workshops and, people read my work or they hear me do a reading. I wrote a story in an hour on the way here to Louisville.
Yeah.
And I read it at a reading the other night. I guess that was last night. And today, people have been saying, I woke up thinking about your story. And that's the best compliment an artist can get. Now, of course, the follow-up question is, well, what exactly were you feeling when you thought about that story? And they each had a different takeaway.
But you know what? I'm going to show you something real quick. We're talking about being artsy. We didn't know where this show was going to go. I'm artsier than you and all of that. But I see in the audience is just growing into everybody that's artsy. Now, we got May here. She's artsy. Yep. She's a poet. She's artsy. Charlie's artsy. And the energy of being with all
these artists coming together,
people,
it's like,
it just kind of brings other people in.
Yes.
Yes. But then at the same point too, going on your earlier point, talking about Dave and you and the different creators that are here on Fireside, each one of them, because you don't have to have a medium that you can see, touch, taste, or feel to understand what it is to be artsy. Like Dave's like, okay, I'm not artsy, but fact of the matter is you have to be, because artists create something out of nothing.
Yeah.
That's
you have to be a creator.
And they evoke different emotions.
That's right.
And everyone has a different interpretation because your viewer or your listener, whatever the case, whatever your medium is, they bring their own perspectives to it. So they all interpret it in different ways. Like even unintended ways from the artist's perspective. Like, people are like, oh, that symbolism that you had in the sentence where you said this, that was fantastic. That makes you such a great writer. And I'm like, I didn't mean to put that in, but okay, I'm glad that's what you got out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
you're right. All right, do we get a vote now?
I'm just playing. Sure.
You earned your vote. Yes, you did.
Yes, you earned your vote. All right.
Be serious. at the moment, but he's like the goofy one. And for Dave, he looked at me, he's like, well, that's a kind of a thoughtful question. I'm like, okay, I do think I look at the world differently. I mean, it's just, I can go from being serious to silly. Yeah, you know what? Tune in later. I've got something for you that I can do. It's backed up by fact. It is not fiction.
I can't wait.
But I guarantee you, it
Dave's like, I can't wait.
Under the age of 18, I will tell you, be careful.
Don't tune
This
in.
may happen to you too. If you're over the age of 18, no, I can't give you more hints than that.
All right, that's
You'll
good.
see.
Well, we will tune in.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us plug. Thanks.
Oh,
Anthony.
no. Thank you for talking
No
to us.
problem.
We really appreciate it.
I love your topic. Thank you very much. I appreciate you actually giving me a moment to actually talk to you about that, because you don't get to speak much about art, because you don't walk down the street and it's like, hey, you're an artist. Well, yes, I am. Pleased to meet you. What's your medium? Well, I do music, or it's like those savants in the 80s when they had on ABC that one kid that was a savant that was making cars out of paper bags. There's everybody. Some people, their medium is gardening. Like some of people can sit out there and all of a sudden, like I grow a tomato. I'm lucky it's big enough my thumb, and they're growing like 4-pound tomatoes, and they're like, oh, no, it's just something I do. It's just an expression of what you have in your heart, that's the best part about it. That's why I like doing these things, because everybody's heart has a different side, and this is my serious side. A little bit later.
Yeah. I can't wait. We're going to give you guys your show back. We'll let him take over shortly.
Well, we appreciate you all. We really do.
Yeah. And
Thank you
it
very much for the moment of time. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for the discussion. I appreciate it.
We'll see you in about 35
30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
All right.
Yep. All right. Thank you all.
Thanks a lot.
I'd like to. Charlie has been commenting this whole time, so I'd like to read what really Charlie has been saying. So he said nice earlier. I think when you were describing at the beginning of the show.
Oh, the poem that I was working on at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, I think so. And then he also said, preaching. Then he said, artsy people see shit within a picture or perception. Then he said, music is a main ingredient in my poetry. Excuse the pun. And then he says, Jill turned Italian tonight using her hands and arms while she was talking. Thanks, Charlie. I did spend 3 months living in Florence, Italy, so maybe that came back. May said, art, I can't draw, LOL. I'm a wordist, see?
Yes, it's great.
Imagination coach. I inspire and nurture dreams. I am a person who notices things, and I embellish the moments I see with a heart full of love and joy, and make it my legacy to give others encouragement. I am May the poet. Yes, you are, girl. Yes, you are.
Cool.
Excellent. So I'm glad that the discussion turned that way instead of, who's artsier than the other, is to recognize that we're all artists.
Yes.
Recognize that and celebrate that.
Absolutely.
If you weren't here when we said where we are, we're in the Brown Hotel, which is in Louisville, Kentucky. It's a famous hotel. In fact, I think in October it turns 100, if I'm not mistaken. And we're here because I once a year I come and help my alma mater, where I earned my MFA, with their in-person residency. That's usually 7-8 days, and I just come back to help them with it because it's a really intense 7 or 8 days. Our schedule is 46 pages this year, but so we're surrounded by all types of writers, screenwriters, playwrights. They had a Pulitzer Prize winning playwright to come in, and she spoke about being originally from Poland. She spoke about her play has two characters in it that have physical disabilities, and in her casting notes, she insisted that those two characters be played by people with real physical disabilities. And the theater, it was on Broadway, but the theater didn't. It wasn't. It was
accessible.
Yeah, it wasn't accessible or inclusive. So they actually had to build ramps, and they just had stairs. And the main actress, they had to build her own dressing room because there was no other way she could enter the stage and get back and have clothing, costume changes and things like that. So they had to build that. So she talked about that, and so we as writers, Tony and I, like he said, he's been using it as his own writing retreat.
Yes. Get a lot of writing done here.
Yes, and because the people who come and help, we are on the schedule to do to lead a open mic with the current students, but we also have to lead that open mic by reading our own stuff. So that's the story I wrote on the way here, and then I read it. So I do different. I like you, May. I consider myself a wordist, and even though writing is the one medium, I do believe that there's something to be said when you can write in different types of writing. So I can write journalistically, I can write fiction, and I can combine the two and write creative nonfiction. And I think there's something, there's a different hat that comes out when a story comes to me. I don't just decide, this one's going to be an essay or this one's going to be fiction. It's how it comes to me. It tells me what it's going to be, just like characters may talk to you if you write things that have characters in it.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
So I celebrate the fact that we're artists. Let's see. I think we have a couple more comments. You keep talking while I try to figure it out.
I will keep talking. So, just so you all know, years ago I did start a novel, which I got into 7 chapters, and I didn't. What are you laughing? Who's saying?
I'm laughing at the comments.
Okay.
So quick, May said, "Quick! Someone called the hotel and asked for Tony and Jill's room." LOL. And Charlie said, "I initially thought you all created your 4th studio."
Another studio, another set. Not creating any more shows. We have enough.
He says, "Wink, wink."
But yeah, we are in our hotel room. But this is a very old hotel. It's a 5-star hotel, but very old. So,
like I said, I think it's turning 100 in October.
Much like in New York, the old hotels actually have small rooms. I've
had bigger. They've given me. Oh, and that's the great part. Yeah. They let me stay here for free. Us. Well, this time us, because as I think May and Charlie came in after I was saying that there's, or maybe I was saying it in my show. The thing about Tony and me, if I know, like, these people know me because I was a student here, and then I keep coming back as a graduate and helping out with the program. So the people who run this program definitely know me. And I didn't tell them Tony was coming with me. And the real reason he came is because we have 4 shows, and we were like, it'll be easier if we're just there together, instead of one of us back in Georgia and one of us in Kentucky. So when they learned that he was here, because I introduced him when we arrived, they were like, "Oh," and they gave him a name tag, and he got swag. I did not.
I didn't get any swag.
Well, you got a special gift, and they keep giving me things to give Tony that I never got when I was here by myself.
Because they know I'm artsy.
Hadn't heard you read one poem, although one person who teaches here threatened to haze you and make you.
Well, I was going to do it last night, but we had a conflict of time. It was at the same time I was doing my show, so I couldn't read there. I couldn't be in two places at once.
No,
I was trying to work it out
how to do that.
Yeah.
Nope.
So but I would have loved to do that, and maybe before we leave here, I'll get a chance to read something to the public.
Well, maybe in the lobby.
Maybe if it's even in the lobby.
Informally, like we usually do on the last day.
Yeah.
May says, I write Star Wars stuff. The characters are classic, mixed with my own villain. Oh, that's fun.
Excellent.
And I have Sam and Dave as a family in it. So it's a hobby, but no spot to put it up yet. And Charlie says, cool story.
Yeah. Cool. But I had been working on a novel, and I got up to like 7 chapters, and I didn't like the pace of it. So I put it down for a while, and it took me a year to figure something easy out in order to change the pace, and I just haven't gotten back to it. But I will. Hero Behind the Veil. That's what it's called.
Yep, you'll get back to it.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing, I think, about being around artists, is that they inspire you. Like I always leave here like full of ideas of what I want to write next, or maybe how to revise what I'm already writing, or something like that. But certainly I leave with inspiration, especially when you have so many supportive people. Like when I was reading the personal essay that I read last night, there's he's a faculty member too, but he was like, everything I write, I often include lines about music in it. And so in this particular story, I mentioned TLC's Unpretty, Meghan Trainor's All About That Bass, and Lizzo's Naked. And he was over in there like singing and dancing in the corner as though he was hearing those songs, and he just broke out into song and dance while I was doing my reading. But I kept it together. I kept it together. So you never know how people are going to respond to your work.
Yeah, but that's funny. Yeah.
So I appreciate. I really, artists are my favorite people, because I do think, I think it was Anthony who said, like we all, or maybe it was you, Anthony. I forget which Anthony, but somebody said tonight, artists look at the world differently, and we really do. So it's really always an amazing time for me to hear or to see what an artist is doing, and how they viewed a certain thing and how they have that unique view and was able to express it in whatever their medium is.
And it's very important for artists to find their tribe.
Yes, very.
Because otherwise it's just like you're alone. You can grow up in a family where no one in your immediate family is artsy except you. And there's, oh yeah, that's nice. Oh, yeah, but
when are you gonna like do something for real? Or that's a nice hobby you have.
Yeah. But they don't understand that, they don't how much of a part of you
that is. Like you have, like we were speaking to a woman today whose son is a musician, and he must do his music. Like he would not be able to breathe if someone took his music away from him.
Yeah.
So he must do it. And so, we all know that being artsy is hard to do for a living, because the hustle is always there, no matter how great you get. Like when we were talking to the Pulitzer Prize winner, she's a Pulitzer Prize winner, and she's still talking about the struggle, she's like, the door is ajar now, of doors that were completely shut. So it's ajar, but it's still a struggle for her to get through the door, like welcome into the room. And I really wish, at least this country, I wish that, that they respected artists more. Like when I used to teach world literature, I taught Tang poetry, which was in China during the Tang Dynasty. And the most revered people in that society, in that era, were artists. They ran the they ran the country.
Artists,
they were
poets
the yes
were revered.
revered. And so I really wish it were that way here, but it's always a struggle, no matter how well known you become. Apparently,
Yeah.
you know. So that frustrates me, but yet the reason we all still like we would all probably if in regard to making money, like, because it's not easy to do that with art, but clearly it's something we must do or else we would quit, right?
That's right.
But we still do it because we must.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. So yeah, we I love art. I love artists. I love doing it. I love being in that mindset. I love that I can think of things that no one else does or can, at least not the way I do. And I probably can't think of the way they create their art because we're all originals. We do what we do. It's just amazing, and I know May is heavy into music, and I think I saw a post one time where she mentioned Frank Zappa, and I didn't start listening to Frank Zappa till probably maybe 4 years ago, and I'm like, oh my God, this man is absolutely incredible. And I grew up during Frank Zappa time. You know, he was out then. I knew about him, but at the time, I wasn't listening. But once I started listening, I'm like, holy cow! Can you hear how complicated what he's doing? But then it was complicated, but then it had simplicity to it. So his lyrics were very simplistic, easy. But the music, poof, blow your mind. A lot of people couldn't even play his arrangements.
Right.
And like
same with Prince.
Yeah, that's just amazing.
Yep.
So,
May says, I can't see a thing without my glasses, including typing this message. I can't see a thing without them. So much for seeing clearly without them. Laughs. I'd also like to welcome Kit Katner and Diana to the show.
Oh,
welcome. We're talking about being artsy. We build this as who is artsier, but really we're just celebrating people who have artsy kind of minds or process things creatively.
Yeah, but we're both really artsy, and that's a blessing to be with someone that's excited as about art as you are. Just amazing, and I know that everybody doesn't have that. Even if they have a partner, their partner may not be as enthusiastic about art as they are. That's when you have to, it's like you're forcing your partner to come places with you, and then they're not really excited about it. I don't care, I don't care about a circle on the wall. So it's a real blessing that I have Jill as a partner because
same with you. Like, you understand that I write. I understand when I understand that. Like, when you have time to, need to make time to create. So I definitely understand that. And I also feel blessed that I had a family that, from a very young age, they all thought I was creative. And they never tried to suppress that. They never tried to tell me, go get a real job or, something like that. They've never suppressed my creativity. And I feel thankful to have that kind of support very early in my life.
I'm curious because I want to test a theory here. So our new audience members, I don't have my glasses on. They are
Diana and Kit Katner.
And Kit Katner. Oh, cool. If I know a lot of people are new to Fireside, but if you know how to give a thumbs up, give us a thumbs up if you're an artsy person, or if you want to speak. You can request to speak with the ask a question, or you can type an answer in that ask a question form, and just whether you're artsy or not. A yes or no, or a thumbs up if you are. So
Charlie gave us a thumbs up. May gave us a thumbs up.
well, we know you guys are. I'm curious of the new audience members, because what I was saying earlier, when you get around artsy people, you can pull in more artsy people. So I'm wondering if the people, the other people, the new people in our audience are artsy, but I understand if you can't answer, because since Fireside has changed this app, it's takes a PhD.
It does. It's not exactly intuitive, but
yes, it's not as user friendly as it used to be. So I hope they.
But they're still making updates.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
But cool. So how are we looking on time, Jill?
We have 8 minutes to the top of the hour, but we can, if you're ready to go, we could go.
Yeah, we can go.
Last call for anyone who wants to speak or make another comment. Anyone want to speak or make a comment?
Otherwise, the night is young.
Yes, we got some partying to do.
We can get out on the town and do stuff.
Yeah. Well, twice this week already, we have gone to, it was the same establishment, to hear live music, which was great.
Yeah. There's a place like in close walking distance. We could walk there in 5 minutes. It'd take 5 minutes to get, not even that probably. So we go there, listen
there is
to
a comment,
music,
but I'm trying to get to it.
And eat food and drink and have a good time.
Yep.
You can't get to it?
It's very slow. See, it comes up and then it...
Yeah, things are working weird, of course. We can try to do it on my screen if you want.
I'm afraid you're going to...
Hey, if we all of a sudden the show's over and we're gone, it's because it didn't work. What's that say? Tony needs... But I can't see it.
Oh.
It's come up.
Tony needs another
Drink.
Another gift? Another gift.
No, I need another gift.
One of the gifts was somebody gave you an extra drink ticket.
I got a bunch of drink tickets. I have
meal tickets.
We've gotten kind of sort of two $50 gift cards to eat in a high dollar restaurant where a hamburger costs $18.
And then May said, art people like you and Tony keep the paint books close and paint the town. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because we're pretty boring at home.
We don't go anywhere.
It's time to go to bed.
But I've been going to bed at midnight and then having to be somewhere early in the morning. It's all right. It's all good.
It's cool. So, but yeah, we actually love coming here. Jill loves it. I love it. I usually only come at the end of the week, where I'd stay for just a few days.
Which is usually when the big party happens.
Yeah.
So this time you've been with me the whole time.
Yeah. How about that?
How about that? Like I said, they've been like, Tony can come back anytime. I'm like, what about me?
Well, of course you can. Of course you can. We're still trying to get Jill a job here. So
all I have to do is publish a book.
All right. Well,
I'm working on it.
They told you, hey, all you need to do is publish your book, and good. So
I'm working on it. As a matter of fact, I'm teaching graduates how to pitch their as artists, how to pitch their work to the media for free exposure.
Yeah,
So,
we're going to pitch our work to the media too.
yeah, I kind of know how to do that. Yes, I have some
So,
skills at that.
so don't be surprised where you might see us.
This is true. Like, I've already been on national TV. Well, my pictures have been on national TV this year. So
Yeah.
we'll see if I can get us actually talking. But we just got another comment. Can you look it up for me?
Oh, I have to look it up for you.
Because it's
Still not
working for me.
All right, I can look it up, but I can't see it.
Call the hotel folks and check on them later on in the morning. LOL. Won't be me. I don't do bed check.
But they had a wedding here.
But I slept right through.
Yeah, you didn't hear any of that.
I didn't hear any of it.
They had a wedding that got out of control.
Yeah, because normally they have a ballroom and stuff like that. And they said that it's loud in there, but it's okay. And then everybody kind of goes back to their rooms and everybody's good. But that's not what happened with this group.
Nah, they were going nuts in the halls. Next day, I was finding stuff all in weird places.
Like cake.
Cake on the ceiling. beer bottles, like where you just wouldn't think they were. They just there. It's just all over the hotel, which is weird. People getting locked out of their room and trying to kick the door in to get in. And they would leave and come back.
This is a 5-star hotel.
And do it again and leave and come back. And the hotel would have to, get them under control. And then a few minutes later, they're back just doing the same stuff. It was a trip.
Was there another comment that just came?
No, I don't think so. But this has been an interesting trip. There's a lot of homeless around here. I bought somebody a meal yesterday. But I learned something. If you have an ankle bracelet, this is real quick. If you have an ankle bracelet, now some of you in the audience may have known this. I bet you Charlie knew this. If you have an ankle bracelet, I thought that meant you were on house arrest and you just had to stay there. But the guy was telling me, he says, yeah, I got this ankle bracelet and it's kind of a blessing for me because it helped get me straight. He says he's in AA now and he's getting his birth certificate and he's just got an ID so he can start looking for a job. But I said, how far can you go? With that. I said, how are you here? And I was in McDonald's. How are you here at McDonald's? He says, no, all I have to do is tell him where I'm going. And as long as I tell him where I'm going, each moment where, if I go somewhere different, I'm good. I said, well, how far can you go? Just about wherever I want, as long as I tell him. So I learned some stuff. How about that?
It's always good to learn.
Did not know that.
But we are out of time.
We're out of time. We don't have any music to play because we're on the No Frills show of I'm Right, I'm Right.
We didn't bring
we didn't bring a lot of equipment. We had a baby ring light, iRig.
So we're going out.
Yeah. Let's go. So we're going to say quick goodnights to everyone.
Yep.
And we really do love you all.
Love you all.
And
Thank you all for being here and adding to the discussion.
Yeah. And I hope you have as good a time as we're going to have tonight. And then we're going to start it off in the morning with a more good times because we're going to go to a restaurant with some special breakfast and have that. And it's going to be a full day tomorrow. Yeah. And then at night, don't we go to the brewery?
Yes.
And we're doing a lot of stuff. And getting free stuff too. Look at that. See, that's the rap sign. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Say bye, Jill.
Bye, Jill.
And we are